super, super
So
fortunate.
quarantine, you barely skipped a beat, man.
You know what? Here's what people don't know. I worked for Amazon for 2 months.
Really? What's good, y'all? I hope everybody's living well and staying blessed. It's your boy Markus B. As always, I'm joined with the one and only Mr. Evan Simmons and new guy Chris. It is episode 67 of Holla at Me with yours truly. And today we sat down with a buddy of mine, colleague, played with him a couple times, the one and only Mr. Altin Senclair. I wanted to say that right. I had a feeling I was going to say it wrong. Altin Senclair. And we sat down and we talked about his history as a musician, all the things that he's done, his come up, his life as a trombone musician, as a jazz musician, all the people he's played with, his dogs, yeah, a little bit of food as we do, and it was just a great conversation, man. This guy, he knows a lot about the game, and he just has a lot of information to share. So it was super cool getting to talk to him over this time because we've never got to sat down like this for hour and a half to just talk about jazz music. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. If you do, make sure you like, follow, share, and subscribe. Also, if you need any supplements or anything like that, make sure you hit up Redcon1. Use promo code T20MarcusB. Get 20% off the entire order. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Peace. When was the last time we had a live guest?
Let me look it up.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah,
It is. Have we had a live guest since 2021? We've had to have had a live guest, right?
I don't know. Yeah, we had Duran. Cause
We had Duran. That's right. Okay. But for the first time in what feels like forever, somebody that's not Evan in the
the last time was Duran, and that was a month ago.
God bless. Yeah, man. So, welcome. Thank you, Mr. Altin Senclair, for joining us today. He is a trombone lesson teacher or studio? Like, what exactly are you doing for us at the high school?
Oh, I guess it's more like master classes.
Master classes? Okay.
Yeah, I have like that one student.
Just that one kid?
Yeah, for right now.
Right on, man. Well, anyways, wait, talking to your mic real quick?
Check.
Okay, yeah, just pull it just a little bit closer.
Okay, cool.
That
There
one,
we go.
I don't know why that one's always so finicky.
I would lower it because right now it's in front of your face.
Is it?
Oh,
Camera.
okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Bet.
There it is. All right. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, man, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
man,
for
I
having me.
appreciate you coming out. Do you live in Temple?
No.
No.
I live in Pflugerville with my
Pflugerville,
beautiful
okay.
wife and 2 dogs.
Gotcha. Well, go ahead, introduce yourself, man. Tell us who you are, what you do, where you come from, and your deepest, darkest secret.
Oh, perfect. So, my name is Altin Senclair. I'm actually originally from Temple. I graduated from Temple High almost 10 years ago now in 2012. I'm a professor over at University of Mary Hardin Baylor, where I am the trombone lesson teacher and the director of jazz ensembles. And I'm also a recording artist and have like my own group. And let me see. My deepest, darkest secret. Oh, this is a good one. Whenever I was like 13 and like 14, we used to live by the dollar store. And I used to eat the candy in the dollar store while my mom was like shopping. And then I would walk out and go to the car.
Everybody's done that at least once.
No, I did this every week.
All right, so then you're a little bit worse than everybody else.
Yes.
But everybody's at least done that once.
I can't say that I have.
You haven't lived life.
That I don't remember.
Yeah, man. If you weren't
I did it by accident.
if you weren't smacking on a Snickers or a Twix, like what were you doing in dollar store?
It was never a dollar store. It was always the convenience store, which is even like
Dang, that's
cheaper.
That's really like at least a dollar store they got aisles.
Yeah, man. No, I just like grab it, just walk. I'd grab the first thing. I did it like twice. Grab the first thing on the first shelf, and just walk that like back to the cooler, munch on it a bit, grab something, put it back, munch on it a little bit more, go to the other cooler. But yeah, all right, man. So we met back at Texas State
Yeah. Wow.
9 years ago.
Yeah.
Bananas.
2012, 13.
2012. I was not yet a music major.
That's right.
You just came in.
Yeah.
Were you out the gate jazz performance or were you regular performance?
So, I was actually a double major out the gate. That's right. So I was a jazz studies major and a euphonium performance major. The funny
Really?
Yeah. Of course the two most useful degrees.
Killing it. Super wise choices from the jump. Okay.
My mom, I will say, was like, "You're not gonna do music ed," and I was like,
At least throw that in there for a little safety safe.
I told her no.
Your backup was euphonium performance. All right. Love that. So out the gate, super rough choices. How long did you last on the double major?
1 year.
1 year.
And the only reason it wasn't one semester was because Raul took over for Freddie's studio whenever Freddie Mendoza, who was a professor there at the time, he took a sabbatical.
Yeah.
For various reasons, and so I was like, well, I have to keep this up for one more semester. And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy euphonium, but I just, if I'm being honest, I didn't see me being in like the president's own band.
It's super hard. There's 2 spots.
Yeah, but like, man, like, what else can you do with the euphonium? I mean, obviously there's many more things, but I wanted to explore.
Euphonium has got to be the smallest pool of opportunities.
Man, I mean that's why there's only like 4 competitions for it.
That's fair. Yeah. So then you drop the euphonium performance.
Mm-hmm.
You just go 100% in on the jazz major, which even that, like, you going 100% in on jazz major, that's a rough call.
Jazz trombone at that.
Jazz trombone
Literally
at that.
the last instrument to be booked for a wedding band.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is some of the stuff that I wanted to get into it with you. Because the only other performance guy I know, a buddy of ours, Stephen Vogel.
Yeah.
Shout out. I think that's 2 podcasts in a row. He's getting a shout out.
Steven.
I hope he said he was going to listen to the last one at lunch. I need to see if he's actually going to do it or not. If he actually did it or not. Anyways, but he did the classical side of things, and he supplemented that with the jazz and the wedding bands and all that.
Yep.
And for you just did jazz. Mm-hmm. How many other things did you supplement, or is it just like balls out jazz the entire time?
No, I mean that's a great question. So actually, my very first gig was whenever I was 14, and it was for salsa.
Shout out.
And something really special about salsa music is like the trombone is the lead instrument.
Oh yeah.
And like Oscar de Leon, for example, his band was 4 trombones at one time. See, that's killing.
So silly, yeah.
Dude, it's really silly. Actually.
Or is it Willie Colon?
Yep.
Same deal.
Yeah, man. Like,
every tune is just like trombone 1, trombone 2.
It's great.
And maybe a trumpet part.
Every now and then, if they're allowed out the cage. No, but so I started with that, and so like salsa was always like something that I did, like, no matter what, and so I did that, and then I like, like going to Temple. I mean, I'm not like trying to like plug it too hard, but basically like at that time we were doing a lot of stuff for like highlighters. And so,
no, it's been a real program for a long time.
Well, and like my second year, my junior year, we went to essentially Ellington, and that's whenever I wanted to do jazz, because I saw this cat named Elliot Mason. Shout out to Elliot, because he basically not made me, but like he inspired me to like pursue jazz for college, because before that I was going to do the brightest choice, full on euphonium performance.
Damn, son. Wait, so did you do euphonium all throughout high school? Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I was in euphonium. I did euphonium for wind ensemble all 4 years.
Damn. Okay.
And then I played trombone and highlighters.
Oh, I don't know why. For some reason, I thought it was the other way around. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, actually, my first gig out of college was for a movie score that Mr. Medina called me for. Because the guy was like, yeah, I need a baritone. And he was like, oh, I play bari sax. And he's like, no, I need a baritone. And he was like, you mean a euphonium? He was like, whatever that is, yes. And so I played like
Yeah, that fake instrument. That one.
And so like the day of my graduation, I walked into the band room with Carlton Morris, rest in peace, and Ken Wood, great people. And man, I walked in with my graduation suit and bought a euphonium. And a month later, I had a gig on euphonium.
Damn, son.
Yeah. I remember the movie was like for like some independent film for the San Marcos River.
Really?
And, yeah, it got entered into like South by. It didn't win any awards, but
yeah,
but
some weird through line of your life, man.
And the guy was like, "Play this page," and it was like whole notes, like just. I swear he did like math for the music. And then he was like, "Play me your highest and your lowest note," and he gave me like a check for like $150. I was 18. It was killing.
Hey,
it was on the east side of Austin. Whenever the east side was still the east side.
Yeah, before it's got all. We'll say weird.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off, but we were talking about like people we know. You actually were in highlighters with David Cron, the trumpet player.
Dude, yeah.
His little sister is my girlfriend.
Oh man, I love David. David and I, man, that was my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, even whenever I was at UT or like whenever I was at Texas State, I was dating this girl at the time, and I would see David like probably twice a week. Yeah, David's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, is he in Dallas still?
He's in Fort Worth now.
Okay.
He's got like a year left before he becomes like a full doctor on his own.
Yeah, David was always super, super cool. David went to David went to New York too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He didn't get his IB diploma because of it.
Really?
That's right.
He chose to go to Ellington over because
That's a
the
good
day of the test. I don't know what test. I think it was like the main test.
Yeah.
But you know what?
He didn't need it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you know what? Like, I know a lot of people who got their IB diploma that haven't done shit.
Mm-hmm.
I try telling these kids that's probably the most useless.
And he didn't get it, and now he's about to be a doctor.
You want to know what the most useful thing you can do in high school is? Dual credit. I'm a college professor, and I'm telling this.
So
it's pretty much what mine.
To all the kids that watch this show, hey, remember the time we talked about it and I said you should take dual credit? Here's another guy saying the same thing.
And I'm I'm in the game right now.
He teaches where you want to go.
No, but like I did AP classes too. And you know what? The day I got my scholarship letter to Texas State, I dropped all my AP classes. I'm not joking, because my counselor pulled me in. I forget who it was, but she was like, I don't know if you're gonna really be able to function in college.
Surprise.
I literally teach college for a living now. So
is that how good does that make you feel?
Honestly, it feels great because man, I've lived in Temple all my life or all of my adolescent life, and man, like in 5th grade, whenever like you like get chosen to either go to pre-AP classes or whatever, they told me I wouldn't function well in pre-AP classes. So
and now you made it.
I literally teach college. So
this brings up
that's awesome about David Cron. I love David. I haven't talked to him in years, but he was such a cool guy.
Yeah, my girlfriend's family is actually going up to Fort Worth to see him this weekend.
If you get a chance, please tell him I said hello. He probably will be like, Altin. But man, like, seriously, he was super cool. Very, very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
So, this what you just said is something that I've been curious about you for a while. So, I met you in 2012, and
I'm sorry for that, by the way.
And out the gate, you just been this balls to the wall kind of guy, who's just kind of abrasive, in your face, fairly unapologetic about like who you are, what you do, and now like what you expect. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from?
A lot of places. So
I'll call one of them as Medina.
Well, you would think, and maybe so.
He's some sprinkles on top.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big reason why I was able to pay my rent in college, because he hooked me up with Freddie. So, like I gotta give it up. That's for sure. But, my grandpa, so like, my parents are like divorced. I have a great relationship with my parents. I can talk to my mom and dad for too much. But like great relationship with my parents. But, my grandpa was around a lot for like my younger years. And my grandpa put 5 kids of his own through the entire Temple system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
my family has roots here. I can't be in Temple without somebody stopping me.
Okay.
It's like not an exaggeration.
Just guaranteed conversation.
Yes, every time.
You get down from the car.
Yes.
You're talking to somebody.
I mean, my wife gets so annoyed. I mean, like, I can't say that I'm coming to Temple. Not because of like some like fame kind of thing. It's just like I just know a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, if your family's been here long enough, it's
I mean,
small enough town.
1968.
Yeah.
Like
Jeez.
my aunt lives a mile that way. I grew up across the street. My uncle lives 2 miles that way.
Yeah.
My grandpa's buried 2 miles that way. I mean,
Yeah.
I was at Chili's in Pflugerville next to Hutto, and I sat down, and I heard somebody say, yeah, whenever I was at T-High, I was like,
Oh no.
and I turned, and of course, oh, I know your uncle. God damn it. So, but, where it really started from was like my grandpa.
Okay.
I mean, man, you talk about somebody who's unapologetically them. But for many reasons, like out of love, out of, the expectancy to just do it right because you need to, not because you have to. You need to. And that also, like, forms a better bond with, like, yourself and the people around you, like if you're not dependent, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, that's a hard lesson to learn the hard way, but that's a really hard lesson to learn the easy way, too.
Yeah.
And then, like, my grandpa, I love my grandpa, love him to death. Cried the day he, passed, but man, my grandpa, he was a complicated man, rightfully so. He like grew up pretty rough. Like his mom died whenever he was like 8. Like my great grandfather wasn't really into parenting, so
Super cool. Okay.
He's from Rockdale, Texas.
Oof.
Like there's a lot of things. So my grandpa was basically an orphan from like the age of 10 to like.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is what it is. But like I gained a lot of like my people skills from my grandpa. So like I can hold a conversation with just about anybody. Not to say that this is a factor, but like anybody from really any background.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you cut me and I cut you, it's going to be the same color. That's not to say that I don't believe in like difficult upbringings due to like different what's like the right word.
So I would just say backgrounds.
Yeah, like that's not to say that. It's just like at the end of the day, we're all the same person.
Yeah.
Or we're all connected in the same damn way. And so for me, like being able to establish that, and then the other side was like I was like picked on a lot whenever I was like coming up. I mean, I was a band nerd who was an Eagle Scout.
Oof. Double whammy. Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on?
So not the coolest.
Yeah, I also was like heavier.
Could tie the hell out of some knots though.
I could also CPR the hell out of somebody. No, but like, and I was heavier until like my senior year. Whenever I like finally like, worked out, like did drum corps. Oh man, yeah.
That'll do it.
And I remember I came back. Man, I was like, oh, man, I look like a
bodied up,
bruh. Come on now.
Different type of tan coming from drum corps, man.
Different kind of muscle too.
Different kind of muscle.
Oh man,
Yeah.
at that point, I was running a 6-minute 37-second mile.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, I was in there.
That's some real shape, man.
Yeah, man, I was. Oh boy. I mean, dare I say this, but I was probably one of the more in shape people in school my senior year. I mean, because drum corps, like you are outside 11 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Like you are doing nothing else.
You're just. And just the physicality of the sport.
What they did
of
is
just like having to stand there, just bake, just bake, just bake.
Yeah, you're basically.
You're Franklin's brisket.
And in 2011, it was at Hero Stadium.
Yeah, which is a god awful stadium.
The hottest summer of Texas.
Yeah.
They did the gun thermometer, and it was 152 on the turf.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's what Franklin smokes his briskets at.
Probably, man. I mean, so like I felt good my senior year, and so it was basically that year, and then being 17.
Yeah.
But like having like a good role model like my grandfather, and of course like my family, like that's something about like my family. We've always been like really excelling at like our work. Like my uncle's like the VP of Citibank for like their technical solutions or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom, she's getting into the senior administration program for International Paper. They make the Starbucks cups.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a job.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's like, how do you find like, where did you apply to get that job?
Right. So I'll tell you where. The health plan, 1 mile that way. My mom was there for 13 years.
Damn.
And then my aunt has been a band director for 27 years in Texas.
God bless.
My uncle, same thing. And then my other uncle, he actually did his technical support with Michael Dell in 97.
God bless.
He doesn't have a computer science degree. He works for the Children's Hospital over in Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my other uncle has been working for Social Security now for 15 years. And he's sitting on, let's put it like this. He like bought 10 plots of land. And nobody even knew. Nobody even knew. So, I've been really fortunate to grow up with like some very tough love.
Yeah.
But like if you don't do this for your family, nobody will. And so that's like where like the confidence and I guess like the like get out of my way is coming from. And just to be completely frank about it, like if you don't do it, who will?
Yeah. No, I 100% get behind that statement.
Survive or thrive.
That's from a different side of that same coin. Like I'm gonna get it tattooed on my wrist, and it's if not me, then who? But I'm coming from instead of like a self like pursuit side, like you grew up in. Mine's like
inspiration.
The want to, I mean, and this is literally the difference between educator, performer.
Sure.
Like that's what it comes out to. Because like I live by that, because if nobody's gonna teach these kids at this high school, then who is? Like, and I'm not saying I'm the best teacher, but I'm.
Well, no, you are in that moment.
Yeah, in that moment, because I'm willing to stay here. I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z for that.
You're committing yourself.
Exactly.
So, no, you are the best person for that. Absolutely the best person.
Thanks, Doc.
And, like, that's, like, where I come from with it. It's like, who's going to, like, get the direct deposit into my account? That's me. Because let me just tell you, like, being a jazz musician is not an easy life.
It ain't, man.
Like, marrying a woman and making that deal with her, bruh.
Shout out to your wife, man.
Yeah, shout out.
She's a ballsy lady.
Now, let me preface though. Whenever Marina met me, I was coming out of like the immaturity part of like my teens. Not to say that I was like much better in my early 20s, but I was much better than 18 and 19.
Yeah. Grew up a little bit.
Yeah.
Freddie learned you some things.
God, yeah. But like the other thing is like getting back to that question though is like, where it really comes from is like, man, I've been shot down I don't know how many times. Mm-hmm. I auditioned for North Texas, right? The euphonium teacher at the time, he literally told me, unless you can fit 3 years into 3 weeks before your audition, good luck. He said that to my face after I paid him in front of me and my mom. Dude, I like almost didn't do music because of that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So like.
Oh, hold up. The laptop's not plugged in. Just realized that. Come on, Evan. What are we doing? Damn, that's quite the statement.
Yeah.
As a 18-year-old, 17-year-old.
Yeah. Literally was about to graduate 4 months later.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, and so I was like, I didn't get in to UNT for the performance or ed program
Damn.
or jazz program. Literally 3 denials.
That's a tough pill, man.
And then I auditioned at like a bunch of other places that I did not get into, except for Texas State. And so, it kind of just comes from that, if I'm being honest. Like, like that moment in my life was like one of those, I'm either going to like, be bald at 30 and not want to like,
Eating
be
Cheetos,
like,
taking collect calls, or figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. And I remember my grandpa, talked to me. He, there's this place next to Temple called Oscar. Oscar store. You probably know where that is, huh? Yeah, man, that place is killing.
It's like 2 minutes from my girlfriend's house.
Oh, nice. And, man, he took me there, and afterwards, he was like, yeah, so how you feel? I was like, well, it sucks. He was like, well, stop wallowing. Figure it out. So I did.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that's, where it comes from. Is, I'm all about TLC. But, see, you can't, have T and C without L. That's the thing. It can't just always be, do better. Everybody needs a little bit of affirmation.
Yeah.
Everybody does. I don't care how much of a badass you are.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of affirmation. That's why, so, remember Carlos Elizondo?
Trumpet player. Yeah. Yes.
Man, he told me
Oh my God, monster.
Dude, he told me this quote years ago, and it messed me up. He was like, I teach by inspiration, not intimidation. And I was 18 whenever he told me that. And I was like, what? And to this day, I think I figured it out whenever I was 25 and teaching for now at that point 3 years, and I was because I'm in my 5th year of really really teaching, and man, it was at that point I was like, I got it. I'm not saying I know how to do it perfectly,
but you understand the functionality of that idea.
Oh man,
that's a wild idea, man.
For an 18-year-old at that. I mean, and he was probably 36 at that point.
Dude, I did not realize how old some of the cats we went to school with were. There was a lot of...
Dude, remember Hayden Lumley?
Yeah.
Dude, that cat was 28.
Yeah. Dude's a homie. I every now and then I ran into him, gigs, he was with another band at another bar, or just something like that, and just caught up with him. Just super nice dude, super sweet, and just, I had no idea how old he was.
He was misunderstood, man. He was really misunderstood at Texas State. I look back, because just some people were they were just asses to him. But Hayden didn't make it much better either. But that's something I learned whenever I was at Texas State because of Kyle Johnson.
Oh God, that monster.
Yeah, man. I love Kyle. I still talk to him today, man.
Yeah.
And
don't blame me.
Man, I just remember Kyle would always tell me man, he has more stuff to deal with than you probably do. Just be cool. And because I remember I was blah blah blah. I was 18. I was just I was following the wave.
Yeah.
Of many others, and I just remember Kyle was just you know what, man, you don't know what he goes through. Just be cool. And I remember one night we went over to Kyle's apartment. We fell asleep on the floor because we were just doing other things, and woke up the next morning. I was like, all right, man, I'll catch you tomorrow. And I was at that point I was there's a way to be nice to people who you may not favor, and that's the thing is that's what my grandpa was really good at. He knew how to deal with situations he did not want to be in. So that's kind of where it comes from.
Okay, no, man, I that's
a long story.
that's as bad of a real of an answer as I can. You can hope for it, man. I dig it.
Try.
Hayden, he taught me 7th chords.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just randomly, he just I was sitting in the lobby trying to figure out Theory 1, and of course he comes through with some Theory 4 stuff, but I was like, all right, I don't know what a triad is, but let's talk about some 7th chords, some major, minor, dominance. Yeah, all right. And then he left, and I was like, shit, I still don't know what a triad is.
I still need to do my homework.
It was a 30-minute conversation. I know what 7ths are. When do we get to that? I flip through the book. I'm like, I'm not getting there anytime soon. But yeah, no, he was good people. Jerry Espinoza.
Oh yeah, Jerry.
Carlos. Oh, God, man, Carlos Espinoza. That dude was such a
Elizondo,
sorry. Yeah. Elizondo, such a monster trumpet player.
Yeah, man. What? My last gig was with him last year.
Really?
It was with the Temptations.
He was with the Temptations as well.
So he was filling in because we were in San Antonio.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because like they don't travel with the horn section. Like they'll. It's because I lived in Detroit for 2 years. They always hook up the cats from the D.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings to the next thing, man. So we meet Texas State 2012. If I'm not mistaken, you leave
to UT.
To UT in 14?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You get the jazz performance, and then immediately you go to Michigan for
my
masters, and again jazz performance.
Another wise decision.
Another super wise decision. Just double down. Quick. So like, give me the quick 4 years of Texas. What things did we check off? Things we learned from the people we studied with. Because we don't have to get too much into it. You left Texas State because Freddie left, right?
You know,
and was that a personal thing or was that an educational?
Both.
Like,
I mean, it worked out to be both.
Okay.
Like, the beginning of it was personal.
Gotcha.
You know, man, Freddie. A lot of people didn't like Freddie. Once again, he did not make it easier. However,
pretty abrasive dude.
However, the man knew what he was talking about.
Smart as shit.
And you know what, man? Cats forget this. That man lives with lupus.
Yeah.
That man has lupus. And if you don't know what lupus is, this dude can literally dislocate like his hip just by taking the wrong step. Or that's like one of the forms. It's not the final form. You know who else had lupus? Lipton,
yeah. That lady's hands, if she was going through it and she would raise it up, you could see through it. Terrified me. Yeah. The first time I saw that.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? I'd never want to fight her.
Never. She was terrifying.
Yeah, man. Same thing with Freddie.
So intense.
Yes.
Both of them. Just so intense about, like, what they knew.
And you know what? It's because, like, man, they've had waking up every day for them is just an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like,
their body's actively trying to kill them.
Could you imagine waking up at 4:30 to go to dialysis every morning and then to go teach some kids that want to be little shits? Really? Like,
yeah.
You know, like Freddie did. I mean, he woke up every morning at 5.
That's bananas, dude.
And it was just because he lived next to the dialysis place. That's it. Damn. And man, then he like had to go like teach somebody like me who thought they were like hot shit. Man.
Couldn't play their scales yet.
No.
Just thought that they were the dopest trombone player ever.
Yeah.
Just like, nah, man, shut up.
I mean, and for Freddie to like, you know. Same thing for Kay Lipton.
Powerful dude, man. Powerful dude.
Same thing for Kay Lipton.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Well, you know, a quick wrap up. So, I was on the success route, so I did 5 years.
Hey, man, if that's a success route, I'm double success and some change.
And jazz trombone. So.
Hey, man, but you went to 2 schools, so you know it is what it is. You lost some credits going to UT. That's the reason why they tacked on another year. That's why.
I didn't make a high enough grade at Texas State because I'm an idiot. So
then you go to UT. You do the Austin gigging circuit, and that was just, some golden years right there. Man, 13 to 15.
Yeah, no, 13 to 17.
13 to 17.
I mean.
Oh, so you didn't immediately go to Detroit?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So I graduated in 2017.
Gotcha.
And so the deal was, so my first year at Texas State, I was just a student. I didn't really know much. Most people don't.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out, man.
And then my second year, I started getting hooked up with like a couple of the cats around town, and it was just because like, dude, I would force myself onto people just so I could see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, well, I'm probably being annoying. And now, I wish somebody was doing that.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, not because, like, I can show you the way, but because, for example, I said this to my student the other day, or last year, really. Your first time in a recording studio should not be for you to play.
Oh, absolutely not. Mine was. It was awful. It was so stressful.
It's exactly.
It was so stressful.
And I told my student that, so that's why I was like, hey man, how about this? I'll pay you like $50. Come like be like my runner for my 3rd CD recording session. and he
Okay.
learned so much.
Yeah, dude.
He was like, I didn't realize you're supposed to like just shut up in a recording studio. I was like,
Yeah.
but you know what? I wasn't mad at him. No,
Yeah,
no, no,
for
no,
sure.
No, like he's 18. He's
Just
never
figuring it out, man.
He's
Yeah.
never taken a trombone lesson before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no. So like it was good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and man, I'm so proud of that cat. He's like an all-star for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but anyways, you know, like it's these things that like you have to be willing to do as a music major, and so I was lucky. I figured that out early on, and that's something that I learned from like my mom and like my grandpa, and really on my family is just like literally doing everything you have to do and everything you want so that you can do what you want to do. You know, you have to do what you. Sorry, you need to do what you. Sorry, in order to do what you want to do, you have to do what you need to do.
Gotcha.
And so for me, that was following people around. That was asking too many questions. That was being in people's ears all the time. That was whatever. And it eventually led me to, you know, playing 1 time a week, then 2 times a week. And then I moved to Austin. They were like, oh, you're in Austin now. Cool. And like the UT circuit really helps.
Here's this midday bar gig. Yeah.
Here's Austin Jazz Workshop. Wake up at 7 a.m., go play for a group of elementary school kids, make $75.
There you go.
That's a good Tuesday to me.
That's groceries for the week right there.
Yeah.
Knocked it out in 2 hours.
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Even better. Yeah, man.
And so, you know, I did that for a while. Now, you know, the abrasive personality did not work out for a while, or it did not work out after about 2 years. And it wasn't because of like it wasn't my intention to like come off as like egotistical.
Yeah.
It was just I wanted to be a part of the community no matter what it took. And, you know, you have to learn how to be a part of the community. That's why, like, you know, I love dogs. So, you know, like, whenever you introduce a new dog, that dog is probably going to get torn up once.
Yeah.
Before it's
accepted by the rest of them. Yeah.
And so I got torn up.
And it happens.
Yeah. I got torn up. Somebody took me by the wayside and in the brass house. They were like, listen, man, I got to tell you something. I was like, oh, what's up? What's up? And he had a really hard conversation with me. And I remember I was like not gigging for like 3 months. And I was like, how am I going to pay rent? And it started finally picking up again. Now that I'm like a little older and, you know, I'm like, you know what? The reason I didn't have those 3 months is because you was talking shit. But that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
You get it.
And yeah. And so would I do that to somebody else? No, I would just tell them to chill out and let nature take care of itself.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So now, like, you know, I'm like in my first year at UT studying with Andre Hayward, who, if you don't know who that is, I mean, Andre is...
That's one of those names that I've heard a lot, and I'm sure I've seen at a gig, but just didn't put like name to face.
Jazz and Lincoln Center, SF Jazz, Thelonious Monk competition winner.
Jesus.
I mean...
Just resume.
Goes on. His resume will always be the longest resume. No problems.
Is that you breathing?
What?
I keep hearing, I'm tripping out.
Is that me?
I don't know. Because it's going on when you're talking, so it doesn't make sense. Is it you?
It might be.
Yeah, your mic is always so hot.
I know.
Let me take it down.
Yeah.
I was like having a stroke for a second because I was like, your mic is so far away from you. I was like, what? He's talking. I was like, I stopped breathing for a second myself. I was like, is it me? Jesus. What channel are you?
2? Check. Yeah. Check. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Now I have to be like this for you to hear me, so I can have it like that.
Yeah, word. No word. Yeah, that was aneurysm. Okay, so Hayward.
Yeah, so Andre, he took me in as a student, and let me just say this, man, Andre is like one of the nicest people in the world. I mean, just no ill will. Like
Really?
This cat is so transparent. He may as well be Casper. I mean, man, so humble, so nice. He just gets it.
Yeah.
I love this cat.
Okay.
I mean, I talked to him I just called him like at 2 p.m. today.
Damn.
I've talked to him as much as possible. You know, love
That's
Andre. Man, before my grandpa died at my funeral, my grandpa went up to him. Let me just say once again, my grandpa is a difficult man, but he gave it up for people.
Yeah.
And he went up to Andre and he like thanked him for like mentoring me those years.
Damn.
Yeah, just
That's
walked
awesome,
up to
man.
this man. So like Andre is a special place in my heart. And so Andre really took me under his wing at UT and did me a lot of solids. And basically, he's the reason why I was able to go to Michigan State to study with Roy Hargrove's bass player, Rodney Whitaker.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's on my second record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Andre made that happen for me.
Damn, dude.
And then he also let me study with my one of my other mentors to this day, who I absolutely love dearly and huge help in my career, Michael Dees. And of course, all the other professors here, like Diego Rivera and all those cats.
Dees.
You've definitely heard Michael
Yeah.
Dees. Yeah. He
did adjunct for Texas State for a little bit.
No.
No.
He did the Texas State Symposium guest artist thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
Thinking of Paul Deemer.
Paul Deemer.
Yeah,
Yep.
Paul's great, man. Paul's super.
I don't know why I always get that mixed up. Too many trombones, man. Too many of y'all.
But Michael D's just being able to like hook me up, and it was because of Andre, and also under Andre's tutelage. I mean, I won the American Trombone Workshop Jazz solo competition. I won the Yamaha Young Performing Artist competition for my division.
Damn, son.
I qualified in the Carl Fontana International Trombone Association competition. I didn't get to go because I was in Europe touring. So I mean, Andre, thank you once again. What a dilemma, I know.
Yeah.
And then
Hard life right there.
and then I also qualified as a finalist for the International Tuba Euphonium Association euphonium competition. Andre.
Damn.
And then honestly, the list goes on, and I hate to sound so arrogant, but like, I mean, this dude literally just like helped me.
He just put you on.
He helped me
for everything.
He helped me build a pedal stool.
Yeah.
He honestly did. And
I mean,
he's the reason I
think is that not the point of your
teaching.
Yeah.
And man, he put me or because of him, I was in the top 10 horn player list for the Austin Chronicle in 2017. I was only 22.
Damn, son.
I mean, he really hooked me up.
Okay.
And I made a living playing jazz trombone. I bought my wife's engagement ring. I
Off of Jazz Bone.
paid rent.
That's pretty.
I balled out. I mean, I ate out every day. And I wasn't missing any money.
Yeah.
No, like Andre really hooked me up.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
And shout out to you for recognizing that and paying the that feels a little weird, but paying the respects.
No, that is.
Yeah. I don't know. Usually when you hear pay respects, it's talking about a funeral, but
Oh, right.
you know what I mean?
No,
but yeah, that's
no.
like
I give it up, bro. I give it up. No
that's
problems.
Yeah, man. Okay. I don't mean to skip through Austin.
No.
But I kind of want to get, and even then, don't want to really skip through Michigan, but I want to talk about these records, man. So
Yeah, man.
So just quick, brief little.
Yeah.
You go to Michigan. You do the 2-year. Mm-hmm. You study with
Michael Dees, Rodney Whitaker, Diego Rivera. Man, I studied with. His name's Uncle G, but his name is Randy Gillespie. And
Gillespie. Okay.
yeah, not related. I
Oh,
know.
okay.
But he's on a record with Wes Montgomery,
Gotcha.
guitarist, like
Yeah.
legend, yeah, like blue note artist.
Yeah.
And I studied with some of the most well-known people of today. I was super fortunate because of Andre.
Okay.
And then Michael Dees took me under his wing, and I'd been following Mike Dees since 2013. And Kyle Johnson showed me him, and ever since that day, we were in Kyle's Mustang, which was all dirty because Kyle does not know how to clean his car. I love Kyle, but
It's too busy practicing trombone
yeah,
licks, man.
and so he put on this album in his car, and I was 18. We were getting ready to go to International Trombone Festival for Martin McCain's studio. Love Dr. McCain. Love him.
Shout out McCain.
God, man, he's so cool. And I remember he played the CD. I was like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got to be his TA
Damn.
both years, man. And
Hell yeah.
he lit a fire under me that just it is not going to go out.
It's different. It's different when you get to what is it? You surround yourself by 5 millionaires. You'll be the 6th. You're just one of those guys that he figured it out. And if you get to be around that level of greatness,
Every every time, I honestly do not like being the best musician in the room. As arrogant as I might come across sometimes, I'd much rather get my ass whooped on the gig
Oh yeah.
any day.
Yeah. I so much prefer to just be like, yeah, please let me know something.
Oh
Like,
man, every time. God.
that's why I loved. So for a stint of time, I was playing with a brass band, with Louis Pereira.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
do you remember him? And he was the drum set player, and I was the accessory guy. And it was just like always a reminder, like, yep, I still suck. All right. I got it. Like he's doing so much stuff with just time
Yeah.
and his fills. I was like, I'm just gonna keep playing because somebody needs to have a downbeat. And all right, he's back with us. That was 2 bars. Good job, Louis. All right. But yeah, man, it hits different when you get to spend time with
Yeah.
those great musicians.
I mean, like honestly, Michael Dees and Andre Hayward are like those are like my idols.
yeah. And plus, I mean, you're in Detroit, man.
So I was in East Lansing, but like nobody knows where that is. So, but Detroit's about an hour away.
Okay. Even so. So San Marcos, Austin,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
What's I want to talk just musically, scene wise.
Man. So this is what I'll say. Love Detroit. I love Austin. There's more work in Austin, but the level of playing in Detroit is higher. And
That's what I had a feeling that was the case.
And it's really two reasons why. A lot of people think jazz is in New York and LA, and it is. But those are destination cities.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz was born in Kansas City. Jazz was born in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, even, and Detroit.
Yep.
And you know, you could argue like Florida and Fort Worth, but like that's about it. But even then, blues is more Fort Worth. Did you know that, because of Detroit? So like, do you know who Ron Carter is?
I know that name.
Ron Carter was Miles Davis's bass player.
Yep.
From
Okay.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Chambers, John Coltrane's bass player from Detroit.
I have talked about this where like literally all the bass players, all from Detroit. Do you know what that is? Just
Well, it ain't the water.
or it is the water, and they're
Nah.
just practicing their ass off so that way
They
can
can
go
get away from it.
get some real water.
But you know what's funny? New York water is like the highest rated water in the nation.
Is it really?
And it's for two reasons. Back in like 2000 or 1990s, whatever, the mayor like did extra prevention for, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, they get basically their water directly from the ground, like 800 feet below the ground.
Oh wow.
And it is really good tasting water.
Huh.
Because I thought my friend was messing with me, Lindsay, whenever I stayed with her a couple of years ago. She was like, just get tap water. I was like, I'm not drinking that. She was like, it's better water than Dasani. I was like, no, it's not. I drink it. It's better water than Dasani.
Nah, I mean and talking on food stuff, they always talk about that. That's the reason why.
That is the secret to bagels and pizza. It is. It really is.
All right, the more you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But no,
I still
Detroit,
need to make it to New York.
Man.
And you want to talk about things that make me sad? Like above music, it's food for me.
Mm-hmm.
And New York was one of those like I need to save up like $2,000, not because of like I want to go see like the Broadway show or off Broadway. It's like no, I just $2,000 on food, and I'll blow that in like 3 days.
Bro, you got to go to West Village.
Yeah.
You got to go to Harlem.
Yep.
You got to go to the Bronx.
Yep.
You got to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah. I was gonna go out the dirty places. That's where it's at, man.
Bruh, so we went.
I don't want to go to the high end.
Yeah,
the I mean, yeah. Let me go get a 4-star in Manhattan
Yeah.
for the experience, but
So we went to this place in Brooklyn, and my buddy had been living there, and immediately, hey, yo, papi. And I was like, all right. We're
yes.
here. We are here.
That's
AC.
That's the correct place to be.
No AC, you know.
Yeah, man.
May as well have been chickens walking around. That's awesome.
The best food comes from people that are yelling at you in a language you don't understand.
I'm about it. So.
Okay. Albums. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it, Doc. So you have 3 now.
Coming up, yeah.
You're about to come up with a third one.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea you dropped a second one.
Yeah.
I still only knew about the first one. Damn, son.
Yeah.
So you just steady working.
So that first album was because of Andre. He was like, man, you need to document.
So
First album.
Hayward.
Yeah, he was like, man, you got to do something. I was like, okay. And so honestly, I didn't know like what I was doing. I mean, you know, you're like making your own record. Of course,
Yeah.
I like talked and I seeked advice, but like at the end of the day, you're the one that's pressing, you know, or you're the one that's calling the shots in the studio. You're the one that, you know, because like I couldn't afford a producer. I honestly didn't know what a producer's role was.
Yeah.
Like at least in the jazz realm. You know, it's
That's
a little
fair.
it's a little different for like pop and Latin stuff,
Yeah.
of course. But you know, it's for jazz. I just didn't know. You know,
Yeah.
and so you know we did it, recorded with some great cats. You know, some of my best friends. To this day, some actually, the piano player Ross Margitza, ridiculous piano player, but he went to Michigan State, and he was also somebody who was like, man, you should go there, blah blah blah, and because he's from Detroit,
Gotcha.
monster pianist, like seven
Yeah.
with a bassy orchestra monster.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, bad boy. But the thing was, he got his DMA in jazz piano. I hate him.
Dude. Well, for the record, Evan is now with us, and you missed out, and so he's our resident jazz guy. But I mean, both these kids know more about jazz than I do.
Sure,
I mean,
yeah.
I grew up in the marching band and the salsa world. I mean, he went to UNT.
Mm-hmm.
Did the same program you did, high
Yeah.
school wise. So, you're gonna drop names on him, and I'm gonna be like, I know that name, and he's gonna be like, yeah, these 3 albums.
Yeah.
So,
So you know, like I had Ross with me, then some Austin cats, really great people, and you know, it was a good first album for a 22-year-old who had never like played with a name yet. You
yeah,
know, it was
all original tracks.
7 of the 9.
That's all.
Yeah,
That count. It's way more than half. So yeah, dude, that's
you know,
impressive.
Like I was happy with it. You know, I was at a point in my collegiate career at that point to where you know I was like, this was after I started doing like all the competitions, and I was like, okay, I understand a little bit more like what the writing process is truly like. Because you know, at first you're like, man, my first tune that I'm gonna write is gonna be epic. No, it's not.
Never is. First one gonna suck.
You
Guess
know,
what? Second one
Gonna suck.
gonna suck.
But you know, it was nice because like I finally had a little bit more of an informed opinion. But you know, the first one, it was cool. It was a great project, good for a young cat at that time. Got like a couple of reviews, nothing amazing. It got like a 3-star review in the Austin Chronicle. Whatever. You know,
Okay.
Never had a
Not bad, not good. Is what
right
it is.
where it should be.
Yeah.
You know. And so my second album, that's like the album that I released in 2020 of January.
Okay.
That was the one that really hooked it up, but that was because of my time at Michigan State. And so I had Rodney Whitaker playing bass, this cat named Addison Fry, who was like a Thelonious Monk Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
I know that song.
Oh man, yeah, he's bad.
Yeah.
And Addison, Michael Dees produced it. My like best friend, best man at my wedding, Chris Glassman, and him and I, we have this group called the Sinclair Glassman Quintet. Except it's funny because we recorded with 6 people.
Semantics.
And then our
Drummer doesn't count.
Yeah. And then drummer, cat named Zach Adelman. He's studying at Juilliard right now, doing his master's. Just
All right.
killing. You know, like all these
Whatever.
cats, like, you know, really, like, you know,
Yeah, just monsters.
yeah, and we were really lucky to like be in an environment to like, literally, hey, Prof Whitaker, can we play a tune? I mean, to play with Roy Hargrove's bass player at any given time. Are you kidding me? Like that. That's
all right.
unworldly.
Yeah, that's
That's the dream.
that's
And
that's
he like,
okay.
and he has a house in East Lansing. Like he's
Really?
there.
Wow.
He has
okay.
7 kids.
Jesus.
Like he's there, and so you know his dedication to his students is.
Is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, I love Prof Whitaker. You know,
yeah.
I've consulted him about like how to like operate in the collegiate world because he's a university distinguished professor with full tenure, and every person in his department is tenured.
Damn.
That
Wow.
doesn't happen except at UNT,
Wow.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like for you to have assistant, associate, professor next to your name, you're making some money.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
especially,
real.
You know, and especially for you to like have to live in East Lansing. I love my time there, but listen, like East Lansing is still East Lansing.
It ain't the best.
Yeah. And so, you know, he's really done some serious work for his people. And so because of that, we asked him to record, and he was so gracious to give his time for 2 days in the studio. Then we had Nathan Borton, he won like the downbeat for outstanding jazz soloist, and he won the downbeat for sound mixing engineer using a bootleg version of Logic.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Like he beat all the Frost School of Music
Oh my
people,
God.
like all the
Okay.
USC cats for downbeat using a
Damn.
bootleg. So, my man, you know, we were.
So he just gets it.
Yeah, I mean-
It's just a different. Again, just different levels.
we were
Different
just-
levels of talent, man.
You know, we were just really fortunate to be in that environment. And so, you know, we did 2 days. We saved up money. It was an expensive project, but it was well worth it because it ended us with a 4-star review in Stereophile. Man, I'll never forget this like sentence. It was Sinclair and Glassman sound like 21st century prodigy grandchildren of J.J. Johnson and High Winding.
Whew.
Yeah. I mean, for that to be printed in a magazine.
Damn, son.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I could give it up to that's okay.
yeah, I mean, you know, and we were 25 and 24.
Yeah.
I mean, man, for that to happen, I mean, that's... So, you know...
Worst things could happen.
Like Michigan Water. No, but, you know, like, for us to be compared to J and K, like the original trombone quintet,
Yeah.
in a positive light at that, because people have done this project before, but it did not come off well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were really fortunate. You know, we were in tons of reviews. ITA, International Trombone Association. Jet Walker actually
Yeah.
reviewed our album
Really?
because he's a reviewer,
Oh.
and he was like, their melodic statements are only surpassed by their virtuosity on the instrument. I mean, man, like,
Damn.
really fortunate.
Come
to
on,
be,
Jet.
to be in
with,
this
with
yeah.
those with the bars.
I know, man. And so, man, you know, we were just really fortunate. And so the second album really, really hit. And so whenever, like this time last year, we had been on a 3-month tour, not straight, like every other weekend.
Yeah.
You know, like we did a Texas tour, we did a Michigan tour, we did a Baltimore, Michigan tour. Like we were guest artists for different jazz festivals, Detroit Jazz Festival, which is the world's largest free jazz festival. Not like free jazz, but like cost.
Gotcha.
Like after us, like the person who played after us next door was Ron Carter and Pat Metheny.
This
Yeah, so I mean, you know,
you know, whatever.
and then the people on the stage after us was like John Allred, Harry Allen, just monsters. And so we were really lucky, and then we got to do the Mid Atlantic Jazz Festival where Buster Williams was the guest artist. I mean, just really, I mean, we were living the dream.
Doing the damn thing.
Yeah, and like they put us up in a hotel, and man, and so during the quarantine, Chris and I, man, Deez calls us Duck and Goose. we're just always like collaborating, and so we were like, let's do a virtual EP, and so we did, like arrangements of like Bolivia, Stardust, and Original. We did like the Duke Ellington Peanut Brittle Brigade from like the Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Man, and it just, you know, we've been able to really get some good stuff, and now this summer we're guest artists for International Trombone Association.
Nice.
And then
Hell
in
yeah.
June we're artists in residence at Brevard Music Center for the Jazz Institute. So we're just like super fortunate.
So quarantine, you barely skipped a beat, man.
You know what? Here's what people don't know. I worked for Amazon for 2 months.
Really? You did? You took the hit? Okay. Hey, man. I don't blame you. It's
I had to put food on the table. man.
when you have a gig like yours where it's and rightfully so, you didn't have a normal job because you made it. Like
You know?
you were able to sufficiently take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Via trombone. So like, yeah, what, you don't need no damn job, and you never had a thought of needing one of those because you're just on this nice trajectory of
Well, and you know, I was lucky because I was in my first year as a professor, so like I was still having like my contractual pay through June.
Okay.
But June hit and I was like, I got to do something because of course I didn't get approved for unemployment. I was livid.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did you not? Do you know why? They just didn't check the box?
I guess not.
Damn.
And like, I mean, you know, my wife, you know, she makes good money, but I mean, we're not out here balling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the case for just a lot of people where
Yeah,
it's just
we're
like,
middle class citizens.
yeah, one person. I mean, this is the case for a lot of
Yeah.
performance people that I know. It's what, like, you have the avid performer, and then you have somebody that's on the salary, and like together, super comfy.
Oh, yeah.
Comfy living. But you take half that out the equation, like that's
Well, and prime example. So my dog tore both her ACLs.
Jesus.
But see, for dogs, I didn't know this. This is like for those of you that know me, I'm an avid dog lover. Like,
Okay.
Dogs over 50 pounds. So,
Okay, I feel a little.
I'm sorry.
I might be getting a little Chihuahua hybrid dealio.
Okay, but you know what though? Like,
It's like it's a miniature.
okay,
Like it's a, I don't know what he looks kind of like a greyhound, but like this big.
okay. The only
small
reason I
dog
say
is just-
that. is
Shut up, Chris.
Because the only reason I say that is because every time I go to the dog park, I'm like, oh, let me take my dog out so that way
Yeah.
like, your dogs can play. Oh, my dogs are tough; they can handle it.
No, they can't.
Lady, or guy. Do you not see my? First off, my dog is 65 pounds, and she is probably 55 pounds of muscle.
What is she?
A pit bull.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah, good luck.
oh,
that's what I want. I want a pit.
Yeah, I love Navy. I got Navy whenever we were. I got it from my barber in Detroit. So
man,
yeah, so
that's
I love
a
my dog.
sentence.
So I love my dog. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old. She's 3.5. She lives
Damn.
better than most kids. I got to be honest. And so, I take care of my dogs. And then we just got another dog, JJ, after JJ Johnson. Yep.
Okay.
JJ, I'm pretty sure he's a lab, but I'm pretty sure he's mixed with Greyhound because he's 9 months old. He's to my shoulders, and he's 78 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Those two go back to back.
Just monsters.
Oh God! Like whenever they're just like playing, it just sounds like the Thunderdome. I mean, you just hear boom.
Is that WrestleMania over there?
Yeah, but it's funny because like Navy, you know what? I hate being this way, but like my dog, I do not have to worry about my dogs getting their butt whooped at the park if it were to ever happen, and it's not how I planned it. It's just speaking of which, like
Just got beefy dogs.
yeah, but unfortunately, Navy was attacked twice,
Really?
like with me, and like the first time she literally got bit in the ass, and like there was like blood.
Oh wow.
She's fine. After that, she really doesn't remember. It was the second time a dog tried to go for her neck, and so she like turned the gate, and that dog was on the ground. But train your dog to not bite dogs on the neck.
Yeah.
And so this gets back to like my Chihuahua story. Every time I go to the dog park, listen, dog parks, you could run into a bunch of situations. It just is what it is. That's the chance. Just like driving home. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, listen, everybody has their own right to be at the dog park. That's great. But if I'm telling you, let me take my dog out, don't question me. Like, I know my dog.
Yeah.
Like, your dog is going to get annoyed that Navy is on top of your dog, and she's going to try to bite at Navy. And whenever that happens, Navy's not going to back down. She is going to destroy that dog. So, like, pro tip, don't challenge like what I'm telling you about my dog. Like, I'm doing you a favor, so that way nobody has to read your Facebook post, ban pit bulls.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I hate that.
God, man, it's not kids aren't born assholes. Kids,
Yeah.
it's a learned trait.
Same case with dogs. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yes, I am making the
I
comparison.
don't know if you knew this, but pit bulls were originally bred as nanny dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog, if any of y'all walk into my house, the worst thing she's going to do, she's going to stick her tongue down your throat. She loves people. She loves people. God. Like anytime Andre comes over,
Yeah.
this man comes over and he basically gets attacked with my dog's kisses, man. She loves Andre.
Hell yeah.
Man, I love my dogs.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, so the second album.
Okay.
Well, before we go off dog talk, I actually met these
Dog
two huge. So take like it was a swim. When I was on the swim team, we did like a team dinner or whatever.
Oh, cool.
So we went over to the people's house who were hosting it. Well, they have a German Shepherd and a pit bull. I don't know if they were just purebred or what, but take like a normal sized German Shepherd and normal sized pit bull, but they weigh 90 pounds each.
Yeah, so that German Shepherd is true. That pit bull's a bully mix.
Yeah, like they both came up to like
Yeah.
almost my chest just standing. They were massive dogs, like sweetest things ever. But if one of them were to attack you, you were not living.
No, and see like a pit bull, or just really any dog is going to react to its situation. It's not proactively like, who am I going to bite next? That's not how it works. You know, like I don't go around, ooh, who am I going to slap box next? That's not me. You know,
Back in the day, maybe, but
no, I was too fat for all that. I didn't have. Listen, I've never been a good fighter. I'm just gonna. That's not me. Like now if we're like, I don't know, if we're like wrestling, I probably win because I'm heavier than you. But
You have
not
advantages.
you. But because I've seen the way you look. Nah.
thanks, man. It's all a facade. It's all fake. Just show muscle. I can't do anything.
Oh, but you know what? Okay, I know where we got off. Dogs, and then what were we saying before that?
Barber, Detroit.
Barber, Detroit.
Just second album.
So Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
So I had
ACL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ACL. So being in the snow in Michigan, everything's uneven, as we all found out a couple of weeks ago with the snow apocalypse, right? And so Navy, the way that she runs, like really, it's the way that pit bulls run, because like they're not, like true pit bulls are not that tall.
Yeah.
But man, the way she runs, she like digs into the earth. And so sure enough, she was running up a hill, and then the next one. But for dogs, I didn't know this. Like my Navy had a torn ACL for like a year and a half. What did it was the torn meniscus, which is the cushion.
Gotcha.
I didn't know all this until I had to like actually research it because the surgeon told me to.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And so I had to make $3,500 pretty quickly. So that was just for one surgery.
God bless.
Luckily, the second surgery's taken care of now.
That's good.
Yeah, but like I had to swallow a big old pill of pride. Stephen Fourth, shout out. Stephen Vogel and I actually were talking about this. Like, I got TABC certified just in case. I worked for Amazon. I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
And I was lucky I got the call for UMHB.
Nice.
Really lucky. Because the previous college I was at, I mean, it was cool. It's just that was more of like a department of music. It was not a college of music.
Was that in?
CTC and clean.
That's right. Okay.
Which there's a problem with that in general. So it's in clean.
But I mean, CTC is no.
Central Texas College.
Yeah, are they linked up with Temple
Texas
College?
A&M. No, that's
No.
That's Texas. No, that's Central Texas College, A&M.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, CTC is the community college for the Army.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Get those two confused.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've alluded to it. How did you get the Temptations gig?
Oh man, right place, right time. So I was teaching at the Dr. Phillips Center of the Performing Arts in Florida with Rodney Whitaker because my professor at the time was like days away from having his second child.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like there was no way he was leaving.
Yeah.
And so I was his TA, and I had a good relationship with Rodney, so he was like, hey, you wanted to come do this week in Florida, does this. Fantastic. I get a call the day before the end of the day. Sorry, the day before the last day of the camp, which is the concert, which I directed a band. And they were like, hey, man, you want to sub with the Temptations? I was like, oh, I can't. But I'm so glad I said this. I was like, I'm in Florida with Rodney Whitaker right now, or else I would. Because if I didn't, he told me, if I didn't have cats in Detroit are like this, because like they want to know that you don't suck.
Yeah.
But this cat named Kenny was like, if you would have told me that you were like on vacation, I just like wouldn't have called you ever again. But he was like, but because you were on tour with Rodney, that tells me something.
Yeah.
And so, man, about a year goes by, and this cat named Rob Killips in Michigan, fantastic trombonist and even better human being. Great player. He played with the Temptations for a while, and he still does. And so him and I, he was like always throwing me work in grad school. He was basically the reason why Navy ate so well. And so he was like, hey, man, would you be willing to go on a tour? And I was like, yeah.
Duh.
And he was like, well, what about during school? I was like, well, how long? He was like, 4 days. I'm like, oh yeah. Because at Michigan State, they are all about professional development in the real world. So like, if you're like, I have a tour that I need to take. Now, if you're only making like $500, sit down. But like, if you're like really like
make some real scratch.
Yeah. And I was. And so we were going to Toledo, Columbus, Indianapolis, and South Bend, and then back to Detroit in 4 days, or something like that.
Nice little inside tour.
Yeah, it was great. It was like the Midwest tour that they do every other year. And so that was my first gig. I was filling in for the second trombone spot, but then Rob had to do this guest artist thing. So they were like, hey, you want to play lead the last 2 nights? I was like, yeah, sure. And so I was really lucky because at this point, I was also getting ready to sub with the Christian McBride Big Band. And so I was like listening for like 3 hours a day, just like memorizing music. Not because I didn't want to read the music, but because I just wanted to know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm not walking into these gigs with a surprise.
Yeah.
No, sir. And so
I mean, with something like that where you can actively work to make sure you don't get surprised, why not?
Exactly. And so every night every night leading up to those 2 gigs, I was just listening. And so I was lucky. I nailed it. I mean,
hell yeah, man.
I absolutely nailed it. The music director was super cool. He was like, yeah, we need like a young cat like you. He was like, you're not too excited, but like, that this is a great gig, good. Like, how to act. I was like, thanks. I was just, because basically I've learned from past experiences, be an asset, not a liability.
Absolutely.
Be an asset, be not a liability. And so that week-long tour went great. And so sure enough, so there's 2 musical directors, the Temptations and the Four Tops. So the Temptations do not do solo gigs. They do 2 different, they do 3 hours, 1 set for the Temps, 1 set for the Tops. So it's 90 minutes, right?
Oof, long set.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty easy because it's like a whole act.
Okay.
It's a whole act.
It's Temptation.
It's basically Broadway but Motown.
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
out here thinking like a 6th Street
hour
and a half set where it's like hour and a half, 30 songs.
Yeah.
Just blowing your face off.
God no.
One of my favorite, man.
And so the Temptations music director, cool guy, TC, plays piano. That's it. But the Four Tops music director plays trombone and piano and grew up with Rodney because they're both from Detroit. And he was like, you Rodney's student? I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, tell him Turhan said what's up. And so I was like, okay. And he was like, also, nice horn. I like your screw bell. I was like, what? Like, okay. I was like, do you play trombone? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh. And so, like, I remember before we hit, because there's a solo in the Four Tops book. He was like, you want to play that solo? I was like, yeah, sure. He was like, all right. And he's like super, 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 like, raw. So he was like, don't F it up in front of everybody. And so it was like this jam in C minor, and I'm like, bruh, all right, we're good.
Light work.
Yeah. And so I'm like throwing like all these, I'm not playing, that's the thing, people who are watching who like want to be like commercial musicians, you cannot be playing jazz vocabulary on Motown gigs or salsa gigs. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Know the gig.
So don't do it. Just like nobody wants to hear your originals at their wedding. They want to hear music that they know. If you want to do that, book a recording session, release a CD. Okay?
There you go.
Save money from your wedding gigs. So,
By playing Bruno Mars. Play Bruno Mars. That's what people want to dance to.
see?
Play Bruno Mars.
Everybody likes it. But anyway, so nailed it. And so a couple months go by, and it's like June, and I get this call. So I promise I'm not trying to flex, but I just flown in from Japan. And
All right.
I was on a 2-week tour with Rodney and the MSU Jazz Orchestra because since I graduated, they had to figure out a way for us to like go with them.
Gotcha.
And so we were like technically considered like teaching artists because we did do like an exchange with like 3 Japanese conservatories. It was
that's
awesome.
badass.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
that sounds super
Man,
cool.
those cats can play.
Oh, yeah.
And so super nice people. Man, I love Japan. So we spent 2 weeks
On the
there.
bucket list, the place to go as well.
Cleanest place ever. McDonald's tastes amazing. It does. It tastes what like a burger should.
Yeah, no, it is. Japan does everything right.
Like, bro, abuelita in the back was like chopping ginger from her house. It was amazing.
Hell yeah.
But so we get back, and so like 2 weeks later, I'm like getting ready to move out of Michigan. He's like, "Hey man, what are you doing this day?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." He was like, "All right, cool. Come to Detroit. We'll do a gig with the Temptations." I was like, "All right, bet." It's like, okay, I guess I'm like getting like the call. And so he's like,
All right.
but see, this was like the only thing was like they called me for first trombone. I was like, "Oh, what's up with Rob?" And he was like, "Well, we want him to play second." I was like, "Okay." And like, I love Rob, so I was like, "You know what, man? I'm gonna like sit in the second spot. I'm not trying to stir anything up."
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because luckily Rob wasn't there. He had to do something else, I think. And so and man, once again, love Rob, but I don't know. But he normally plays like a bigger horn.
Yeah.
And so like for you to play lead though in like the Temptations, you need like a pretty like a really really striking horn.
Almost as small as you
Yeah.
can get.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was good, playing, and I just kept on getting the call, and over until the big one came. So like everybody here like knows like Motown Records.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Berry Gordy does this thing like every 5 or 10 years, like Motown Records anniversary, and so I wrote and arranged all the horn parts for the CBS production of it. And
All right.
that was like.
Oh, jeez.
That's some shit.
Bruh, it was
Wrote and arranged?
It was nerve wracking. So like I like transcribed everything from every recording, all those horrible recordings that were uploaded. God, I wish I could have just like got like the master, like but that's a whole nother thing. So man, we get to rehearsals. The rehearsals went as they were going to be expected to go, with little to no instruction. So
Badass.
2 days of that. Then we get to the day of the gig. It's a 7-camera shoot.
Jesus.
I mean, like, we are there from like 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. And I'm not joking. The set list changed 45 minutes until the show.
Hell yeah.
Bruh. I was livid. But I was really fortunate that I had my laptop with me.
Yeah.
Because I just dragged... Like, we didn't change, like, songs. We just changed the order.
Yeah.
There was, like, 12, and I was like, ugh. And so, like, mixed match. Finally, 45 minutes, I'm, like, chowing down my food before I got to put on my tux. And then I put it in finale, airdrop everybody. It's cool.
Yeah.
But in the middle of that, there's this woman named Allie. I forget her last name, but she was a co-writer for September, Boogie Wonderland, like all those, like the hits. Let's Groove Tonight. And she came over. She was like, "Baby, what's wrong with you?" I was like, "Hi, I'm writing like all the music for tonight." She was like the horn parts. And she was like, "Yeah, I thought I saw you. Y'all sounded fine." I was like, "Thank you." She was like, "Is stuff changing?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're like changing the order." She was like, "You'll be fine." And like,
damn,
I had no idea who this lady was.
Yeah.
I just thought she was just like some crazy lady in like this like weird. But man, they announced her. We were like, and the Legacy Award tonight goes to. I was like,
She was.
she's super important.
and so I see her walk up, and I'm like, bruh. and they're like, "Do you know who she is?" I was like, "Yeah, she was talking to me earlier." She was like, "She was talking to you?" I was like, "Yeah, you didn't see that?" They're like, "No, we were getting ready." I was like, "Oh, well, I was writing music for y'all." And so like, doing that, and so I got to write and perform with Neo. The Velvelettes, Temptations, and Four Tops. I did not have to write their music; they have their own book. I'm so thankful. Martha Reeves.
Damn, dude.
It would have been Jennifer Hudson, but I guess she didn't. I don't know. And then I thought Smokey Robinson was going to play, but he was just getting awarded. And then Big Sean. Yeah, he's a Motown artist. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, not until I heard like Big Sean. I knew Neo was.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, that makes sense.
But like Big Sean, I was like, what? So yeah, it was cool.
Damn, dude.
And that was like the summation of like Motown for me. And so, I of course like played with the Temptations all the way through March 13th of last year.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing else to, I'll say this though.
And now we are March 12th.
Yeah.
March 11th. What is that?
Oh, that's weird.
That's gross.
11 today. Okay, that's weird.
But you know what's really cool is like, man. So I didn't realize this, but like the Temptations, like so in their rider, like their food. First off, it's bomb. You get a choice of white meat, steak, or fish every meal. Every meal.
Damn.
And the reason is because whenever they were on the road, like in the beginning, segregation or race. Not to say that racism is not present today, but however, it was much worse.
It was much more prevalent
Yes,
back then.
and much more in your face. And so they would literally like not just like they just like wouldn't feed them, but also like they would just like throw like obscenities at them, like eat this. And so now when they're rider, oh boy,
They make sure you
Yeah.
take care of it.
bruh, you ever had like what did I have? Oh, beef braised ribs before a performance on the regular.
Not before.
Yeah,
I think after. Yeah, maybe
no,
once.
before. It was either that or salmon. Yeah,
All right.
tough life.
That's yeah.
That sounds really difficult.
Real struggle busting out there, man.
Yeah, so I was really fortunate to come into that, and it honestly just came from like, it's not that I didn't read the book; it's just I knew the music.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what to happen. The same thing with Christian McBride. Man, afterwards he was like, "I'll see you tomorrow," because like I was just subbing for one date.
Damn.
And man, I wish, but like, he was so cool. At the end of the gig, I was like, "Christian, thank you so much for allowing me." He was like, "Man, you were killing." I was like,
Whoa.
Christian McBride said you're killing.
Yeah.
That's the compliment.
"Yeah,
It's-
man."
yeah, it's a little different.
Because he was like, "Yeah, you want to play a solo at the end?" I was like, "Yeah," and it was like a G blues, and it was like, and that's like right up my alley, like
Yeah.
for like beboppisms, because
Oh,
I've
for
been
sure.
transcribing to that point, like Hank Mobley, like a lot of
Yeah.
language.
Gotcha.
And for those of you that know Christian, he got his first start through Freddie Hubbard, and I like memorized some like Freddie Hubbard stuff too. Oh boy, I like you just like could not be more prepared for a gig.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn, son. So what's the next goal?
That's a good question. Well, there's a couple things. I mean, there's like a couple of different trajectories people like to go after. It could either be a full-time professor thing.
Yeah.
Could be like a playing thing, which I don't want to say it's becoming obsolete. It's just like it's just waiting for the right moment to move to like whatever city you want to move to. Right? And so like for me, before coronavirus was like I had no idea.
Yeah.
We were going to move to New York this coming August, like right now this coming August. And that was going to be like us for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
New York is great. I don't want to raise my kids there. God no.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
no. I want to raise my kids in Texas. That's not like a political statement. That's just I feel like Texas is the best place to raise a family where you can be economically stable and you can have like big cities as well as like teaching kids about diversity as well.
Yeah. No, I
I
agree with that. I mean, I grew up all over the United States, so Texas is definitely up there.
Yeah, and so I love it. But we would have moved there, but I mean, there's no reason to move. There's not a reason to move to New York to work at Starbucks.
Yeah. So definitely put that path of trajectory a little bit on hold. I guess here is a different way to ask the question. Was anything that you have done up till now part of the original plan?
My third record, the concept is different because
Okay.
of what happened, like because of like coronavirus.
Gotcha.
So like originally, I've been talking with the Positone record label. So Mark Free is based out of LA, but he records a lot of New York artists. Like he records like Art Hirohara. He records like Doug Webb, Roxy Koss, Joe Magnarelli. Like prevalent people today. And like he'd listen to that second record that I put out with me and my buddy Chris, and we were talking about it. I mean, it's not that it was out of our reach. It's just like the talk began.
Yeah.
And so we would have probably began to establish a really good relationship. Who knows if we would have recorded by now? I don't know. I don't want to say that, but we did have a very good relationship.
Damn. Okay.
And so, right now, I still wanted to do I wanted to do a concept album or the two trombone thing because I was really lighting a nice fire.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do a third album no matter what. I just didn't know what. And so this one really came from... Well, it came from two things. Number one, I didn't want to play with a quartet at the time that I started gigging again because of coronavirus. I thought it was a little too risky as far as like social distancing. So I started with a trio, which is just bass, drums, and trombone, which is pretty irregular. You know, for a saxophonist, I think that's a little bit more...
A little bit more common, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean...
Keys, drums, bass.
Yeah. You know, sure. But for trombone, that's pretty out. And so, you know, for me, it was a lot of freedom to play because, like, number one, I was more focused on rhythmic aspects, which, to at least my benefit, I grew up here in Temple, but I got my start playing salsa gigs whenever I was 14. So I've always been drawn at Fort Hood, actually, with the Boricuas. You know, like for real.
Shit.
Like cats that like moved from Puerto Rico to Fort Hood. And so I was really lucky. And so because of that, that's always been a really big part of me. I love salsa music, like, man. And so I wanted to like do something with that, but I'm also half Turkish. And so like there's something to be said for like that music. And it's funny because my grandfather in Turkey, he's actually like a pretty prolific musician in Turkey. He has like the European equivalent to a Grammy, I guess. And he plays he plays this instrument. It's called the kanun, but it's really a bog zither, which is really just a sit harp.
Gotcha.
And so I transcribed something that he played, and I like basically put like a John Coltrane vibe on it. And I was like, you know, and then my grandpa, who passed away in December, he was always like, you know, you always got to be like proud of your roots and everything. And I didn't really understand that until like, of course, he passed. And luckily, I already recorded something before then. So I was like, man, I'm going to call this project Reconnected because it had a lot of Afro-Latin and then my Turkish side. But to my benefit, my Mexican ancestors are actually migrated from Spain. And Spanish and Turkish music have a lot of harmonic similarities.
Really?
Yeah. I did not plan that. I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. I mean, I'm clever, but I ain't that clever.
Yeah.
So so I really like let it happen and recorded, and so that became my concept, is like my trio. And and it's a really nice hookup. Surprisingly. I would think that I'm more tired whenever I play, but it feels more at home than I thought.
Okay. Yeah, dude, that sounds super dope.
And that's the album that's coming out. The third album.
Do you have a release date?
August 27th.
August 27th.
It'll be released. It features Roxy Koss, Pete Rodriguez.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss that guy.
Yeah, man, I love Pete.
I hit him up, but I don't know if he has the same number or not.
He doesn't.
I had a feeling.
I'll give it to you.
Please.
I literally see him and talk to him every week.
Dude, please.
I live 10 miles away from him.
That's wild. I love that guy.
Pete, man. Pete gave me my very first gig in Austin.
No shit?
Yeah, I was 18.
That doesn't surprise me.
And at the Brass House.
Of course. Oh, God, I missed that club.
Yeah, and so...
Did you ever get to go there?
No.
Man, it was hip. It was poorly ran, but it was hip.
So poorly ran. But the reason...
That means it's hip if it's poorly ran. Like, that makes it hipper.
It's a great club.
Great ambiance.
Great ambiance.
Poorly ran.
Super stiff drinks. It was awesome. It was awesome while it lasted.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, please. Because I'm looking for salsa charts for the band at the high school.
Yeah, dude.
And, they're... Surprisingly enough, there's not a lot of places for you to buy salsa charts. So
that makes sense.
I've been hitting up people because like there's 3-2 Music, but that's pretty sparse. Turns out LatinSheetMusic.com.
Oh yeah, those are okay.
That feels a little bit too on the nose, but I bought one, it looked
fine.
good.
They're fine.
Looked good. I'm gonna play through it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And see how it is.
No,
it looked a little.
They're fine. Honestly, they're like the equivalent to like the real book.
Gotcha.
And the real book is fine to an extent.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, dude, it's a once a week salsa
band
and plus for a bunch of kids that are doubling, so it's like it's just
they're being exposed
to it. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So
and that's beautiful.
And it's been a blast, man. Trying to teach that. It's very frustrating that the only people that want to do it are saxophone players.
This isn't a merengue band, bro.
Dude, that's literally I've got a cumbia and I just bought a merengue. because those are the only ones that have alto. And of course, it's not like a wave of tenor saxes where it's just like you play trumpet one, trumpet two, trumpet one, trumpet two.
Yeah.
It's like all altos. I'm like, all right, freshman, I know that you are now doubling on this horn. I know your original instrument's clarinet, and you're learning alto, but now you're going to transpose a trombone two-part. Add 3 flats. Here we go. Poor girl just looking up and be like,
I can't do it.
I wouldn't even be able to do that.
I know what to say. I don't know what that means.
If you would have told me that when I was there, I would have been like,
Do you remember Derek Thigpen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what he told me back in the day, and I just kind of latched onto that. And
It's true though. It's very true.
Yeah, so I just know that that's what you're supposed to do when you're transposing from a bass clef part.
Yeah.
You add 3 flats to whatever it is. I don't know if that negates sharps. If
it doesn't negate sharps, but naturals is where it gets funky.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. But
naturals become sharps, and then
Yeah.
you're left with.
that gets weird.
Weird
Yeah, I'm
times.
out. I'm out. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out just some tunes
But no,
to play with them.
that's fantastic.
But dude, I want to get you up out of here because I know it's.
Oh, it's
I don't
cool.
even know what time it is. It's about to be 9. But last couple things,
The
dog.
wife gave me permission. I'm good.
Oh hell yeah. What's super corny, and I hate saying it, but just genuine question. When's all said and done, what's the stamp? What do you want to leave behind? What is it? What's the ultimate goal, as opposed to where it just seems like, for lack of a better simplification, it's just like kick ass at trombone, get the gigs, get the degrees, get the CDs.
Yeah.
Like that's in a nutshell, in a very poorly described nutshell. Like that's what it's been, but it's like where you get to Freddie's age.
Like why?
Yeah, like you get to Freddie's age. What's gonna keep you playing until then?
Honestly, I've thought about that. In this industry, in this particular lane of this industry, rather, you have to be self-sufficient. And so, like, if you can't light your own fire, don't bother coming to the campfire at all. Or don't bother trying to collect wood. I mean, there's so many other things that you can do to where you can just enjoy music.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if, like, you want to do, like, the freelance thing and, like, or, like, the professor thing, it's not that it's an easy or hard road. It's just the self-sufficiency thing is so important. I mean, a present-day 21st century musician cannot just play their instrument.
Yeah,
They have to write. They have to play. They have to play different genres. They have to teach.
you gotta be able to record.
They have to record. You have to learn how to do home recording now because of everything. You got to know how to teach doubles. You basically, like, a performance degree and an education degree they're not the same. However, you have to learn how to do both sufficiently.
Yeah.
And so, like, I tell this to a bunch. I always tell this, like, my freshmen and sophomores, like, if you really want to go down this road for performance, you need to learn 3 things: awareness, consistency, and intention. Those are like that's like my mantra. Awareness, consistency, and intention. You cannot have one without the other. You can't. Not if you want to do it right.
Yeah.
And that's like not a music thing. That's like a life thing.
Yeah.
So like, take Bill Gates. People can talk all the trash he wants. I got my Pfizer vaccine. I'm not controlled by 5G yet. So
I think they're getting enough people.
yeah.
Then they turn the switch on.
I mean, if you've seen Kingsman, it's basically like that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's about leaving behind not a legacy, but it's about inspiring another generation of musicians to do this.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the end of the day, jazz music, but that's actually still a term that, it's not that I disagree with it, it's just, like, that's a commercial term. And maybe it's because, like, everybody's, like, banding together about this now. I've been lucky to be surrounded by people who live this. But, like, continuation of the origins of this music dates back to Africa.
Yeah.
In my opinion, all music is from Africa. remember, those of you who like want to like dispute this, but like the Bible is not taking place in America or Europe or Antarctica
Surprise.
or South America. It's taking place in Africa, the continent. And because of that, all things have originated. Everything is originating from there, and so you need to pay respect to that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's about teaching that respect and like understanding it and helping others be inspired by it. And so like that's like my like what I like want to leave behind is like inspiring a whole new wave of musicians to do that, because that's what happened to me through
Yeah.
Andre, Freddie, Mike Dees, and all the others that I've been really fortunate to talk with, like Elliot Mason, Vince Gardner, I mean McBride.
Yeah.
The Temptations, same thing. Like their music came from jazz, and like by the way, all Motown like horn players, those were jazz artists. Stevie Wonder's trumpet player, Dwight Adams, that guy is one of the baddest straight ahead trumpet players in the world.
Really?
I mean, he's been on stages with Ron Carter, McCoy Tyner, and Roy Haynes. Bruh.
Damn.
Yet he's still playing.
That's an okay lineup.
Yeah.
Yet he's still playing "Do I Do" with
Hits.
yeah. But you know what? And who's the original trumpet soloist on "Do I Do"? Dizzy.
Really? That's a fun little tidbit.
And who's one of the most recorded saxophone players in the world for 70s through 90s? Michael Brecker.
Damn.
So like, it's not about like, I'm gonna do this one thing. It's more about like, I'm gonna delve deep into this broad subject and hopefully be able to find inspiration that helps me into everything. Because you know what, like, I put like a hot take on Facebook a couple of months ago that I know ticked some people off, but I said, Cumbias groove better than any other music. Let's debate. And there was only one person that did, and of course, that person was wrong. So.
I saw the status and I was like,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Tell me what grooves harder than like a for real cumbia.
Dude, there's no downbeat.
Yeah.
But yet you're able to just like if it's a real cumbia, it's just like you're able to float through the
And you know what? You know what somebody told me? The cumbia rhythm or that loop is probably one of the most adjacent rhythmic patterns to African drum circles.
Yeah.
Right?
Because a lot of that music is like cyclical. They deal with a lot of like cycles. That's why you can't really feel a beat, because it's just constantly like going in a loop. Yeah.
I haven't thought about it like that. Yeah, it makes sense.
And so, anyways, fight me.
I just last thing. For real.
Yeah.
You said the mantra. Say it again. The three.
Awareness, consistency, and intention.
Could you give me the definitions of those?
Sure.
In your world.
Sure. Well, actually, I just give like the most broad definitions I try to. Awareness, being able to know what is either going to happen or what you're going to do. Intention, knowing what you're doing and being aware about it.
Yeah.
Consistency, doing something with awareness and with intention, which normally results in a consistent effort.
Yeah.
Or in a continuous effort, if you don't want to use the word.
Yeah.
But musically, I always say awareness. Do I feel the same way every single time in order for me to create a consistent feeling, which means that I'm intentful with the other two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That used to get yelled at. I used to get yelled at about it, so that's why it's like my mantra.
I mean, that's about as concise as you can get it right there. Yeah. I mean,
3 words. Everybody knows what they mean.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to enforce them.
All right, man. Any last thoughts? The last things that you want to... final shout-outs? Any last plugs?
Oh, man.
Anything like that?
We can do our fast food question.
Oh, yeah, what up?
Oh. We haven't done that. We haven't had a new person on. I totally forgot.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm all about it, as you can see.
Now imagine. All right. You so this only works if you go along with the ride with me, all right?
Fine.
You know those the KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Huts, right? Where you can order all 3 things at the same place?
I feel good about yourself.
Yeah, feel great. Now, I want you to imagine It's one register, and every fast food joint behind the counter. So you can mix and match however you wish.
Like multiple associations.
Multiple associations.
Oh, bro.
And I'm talking every fast food joint. We could throw Bojangles in from Louisiana. We could throw Bill Miller's in from San Antonio. We could throw P. Terry's from Austin. We could throw Five Guys from California.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally
Wow.
anything.
Okay.
What are you gonna order?
Okay. It's really hard.
I'll give you some time to think on that.
Bush's Chicken's Tea, number 1.
Okay.
Bush
Solid choice out the
Sweet
gate.
tea.
Solid choice out the gate. Okay.
Okay.
It's the first time we heard that one.
That's new. Yeah.
For the fries, Whataburger.
That's a pretty consistent one.
Yeah.
For
It's
the fries.
usually Whataburger or Chick-fil-A.
I could see Chick-fil-A, but you get more with Whataburger.
I concur.
Sure.
Was it you that said Whataburger? last
Yeah.
time?
And then for the sandwich, I mean, this has to be good.
Deep thought. Nah, this is what I appreciate this. Who was Connor? Piece of shit. He was just like, too many options. I'm gonna get a Cane's meal and call it a day.
Bruh.
I got angry, but
Get out.
I appreciate your deep thought.
Okay. So, okay, here we go. Does rail yard count? Remember San Marcos? No, okay, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, that's fine. I'm
But
okay.
they went under, sadly.
Oh man.
Good.
R.I.P.
Such good burgers. Such good burgers.
I was gonna say the bun.
Ooh. Oh.
Right?
Ooh, this guy.
Oh,
I'll allow it.
Just breaking down the sand.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yes.
So the bun from rail yard.
It was a brioche bun, but it was just better.
No. It was a sweet Hawaiian bun.
That's right. That's why it was better. It was
It
the
had the
king.
same texture though.
Yes. Yeah.
Does Fuddruckers count? I mean, they just went under 2.
Oh, they did?
They did go under, yeah.
Did they did?
Yeah.
It's another one that was here in Temple.
Oh, that's
they
been gone.
Yeah, it's been gone for a while, but they had the one in Colleen.
No, it's done. And
That one is done
and
too?
is
It's
the
a
one
chain.
and so is the one in Round Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, so then probably not.
I guess if we're going fast food, I wouldn't.
Because
Okay, no,
is
that's fine.
is Fuddruckers the same as Five Guys? Because if it is, then
No,
we have
it's
to
not.
allow it.
No.
No,
It's not.
no.
Okay, fine. I'm
Okay.
fine. So then, Five Guys patties.
Yep. Great patty.
And the cheese.
And the cheese.
And the lettuce.
Okay.
Yeah. But in the rail yard bun.
Okay. Any other sides?
Bruh, if Gus's chicken was an option, game
Absolutely.
over. But, wait, what?
Yeah.
It is?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a fast food chicken joint.
Scratch the burger. Actually, no. Keep the bun. Gus's chicken breast in between that bun. It's done.
Done.
It's,
Game over.
It's absolutely done. If you've never been to Gus's Chicken, do yourself a favor.
Dessert?
Yes.
But of course.
What's going to give you diabetes or what's like not going to kill you? These are like the things. You know what, man? I'm going to be basic. Honestly, I've been feeling this lately. Like a Java chip Frappuccino.
Yeah. All right.
I'm like good with those.
I could dig that.
Yeah.
He's the first person to like mix and match.
Yeah.
I want to take a McDonald's apple pie. Take it to Dairy Queen. Make me a blizzard.
Stop. Stop. No, sorry. A peanut butter Buster parfait. Game over.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Bruh. Let me just tell you. The reason why, sentimental reasons. So whenever my mom, she would like take us to like get dessert and be like,
Yeah.
Mom, can I get what you get? She'd be like, no, until you can buy it yourself. So that's why. And number 2, fudge, hot peanuts, and soft serve.
That sounds
on now.
fantastic. Yeah.
Come on now.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the true thought.
Yeah, man.
You are now the gold standard on this question.
I'm just here to do the Lord's work.
So any final legitimate shout outs, thoughts, praises, plugs?
Yeah. So number one, plug in Holla at your boy.
Name changed.
Oh.
Yes. So that's the issue. We got to fix the goddamn Facebook.
So
And I'm not mad at you because like the Facebook page is still Holla at your boy.
Is it Holla at B?
It's
me?
Holla at me with Marcus B. Yeah.
Okay.
It's, Holla at your boy. It rolls off the tongue really well. Does not search well.
Okay.
But too many made up words.
Holla at me at your boy Marcus B.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
There you go. So first off, shout out to that because this is very entertaining. I was watching like 2 of your episodes up on the way to work today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And then shout out to the wife for letting me come out. And
shout out to the lady.
Yes, always. And
the pups.
Yes, Navy and JJ. If you tore apart anything, we'll whoop you. And yeah, look out for so my first single for the album comes out July 23rd.
Okay.
And then the full album comes out August 27th on Outside of Music's record label.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
dude, come back.
Yeah.
I would love to have you back on. Post. I think post drop is better. Yeah. So that way it's like they can like hear the episode and then go listen to it immediately.
Down.
So yeah, dude, I'd love to have you back on, man. And since you're at the college down the block, so you're definitely an option to be on all the time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays,
dude. I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Again, also since you're in town, bro, I need you to come out on for my salsa band and or brass band.
Sure.
Have you
always down?
Have you blow for these
always down
for these young cats? But thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming out. Dudes, appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming back. Everybody that rocked with us all the way until the end. This was a long boy, but God, there was a lot of things to be learned from this one, and a lot of things.
Also
about.
Peep the Mario socks,
dude. Been peeping the Mario socks since you crossed the leg for the first time, man. I appreciate a good sock.
Team Luigi, okay. Oh, okay.
Coming with hot takes, controversial.
Such a good episode.
I'm not a Nintendo guy, so I have no skin in the game. But I'm aware enough.
Okay.
I know that Luigi is the controversial take.
Up B Super Smash, you will win the match. Up B every time, and don't at me because it's true.
All right, man. Hey, well, y'all be easy. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Peace.